Welcome to the Wine Zone. I'm Konrad Ejbich, and this is Pro and Con on the Road. My very special guest today is Steven Spurrier. Steven is a British wine journalist and editorial consultant at Decanter magazine. He's the founder of the L'Académie du Vin and the organizer of the 1976 Judgment of Paris tasting, which was later made into a Hollywood movie called Bottle Shock. Welcome to the show, Steven.
Thank you very much, Konrad.
Thank you. Now, first of all, I Googled you a few nights ago, and I must say I was terribly disappointed to learn that you died in 1961. How has that affected your career?
Well, it was a very good venture.
It was an excellent...
One's got to die in a good venture. One should die in a good venture.
Well, here we are, alive and well, in Niagara at the 3rd Annual International Cool Climate Chardonnay Celebration. And I'm dying to know, recently, Tupac Chuck won the top award at the California State Fair for the second time in 3 years. Is Tupac Chuck really the best Chardonnay in the world?
I think it's probably the best value Chardonnay in the world. I mean, what is interesting to me is that Tupac Chuck is named after Charles Shaw.
Yes.
Charles Shaw was a young man in Paris at Chemical Bank in Paris, and he did all my wine courses at L'Académie. He fell in love with wine, and he gave up the banking business. He went into the wine business. He planted Gamay principally because he loved Gamay, he loved Beaujolais, and then I'm afraid he lost his business because Gamay really wasn't the flavor of the month. And then whatever huge company bought him, they bought the name of his cheaper brand, Tupac Chuck. And if they'd given Charles Shaw a cent for every bottle of Tupac Chuck they sold, he'd be a very rich man.
He'd be very, very rich man, absolutely. Now, Chardonnay has been in and out of favor over the decades. Where do you place Chardonnay in the hierarchy of wine grapes?
Well, I think it's the best known, and it's also the most popular of wine grapes. I don't agree it's been in and out. Well, it's been in and out. It's not ruled the roost all the time. And there's been, I was never a fan of this anything but Chardonnay idea, because
the ABC movement.
The ABC movement, that was just really stupid, and that was a result of Chardonnays being too oaky. But it is the dominant white grape varietal, I think, on the shelves of all wine shops. And it's the most adaptable grape variety. It adapts to the region where it's grown. And this has been so fascinating to be here in Ontario to taste hundreds of Ontario Chardonnays, whereas I've probably tasted, I don't come across them very often. And they're very good, and they're distinctively cool climate Chardonnays. And they've kept, they're, I wouldn't say they're European, but they're very Chardonnay in the best possible sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I was going to ask you that. You've been touring Niagara for several days now, exploring the region and tasting the local wine, not just Chardonnay, but everything. But possibly discovering material for your next big blind tasting, perhaps the Judgment of London?
Well, I mean, I think the point of blind tasting is to put unknown wines or lesser known wines up against the benchmarks and see how they do, because that's really the only way you can get known, which is what happened for the 2 California wines in '76. I think comparison, I mean, the role of a wine taster, and in my view the role of a wine drinker, is to compare and contrast. And the idea of drinking the same wine every day to me is just horrendous. And so boring, yeah. And so to really enjoy wine, you need to drink different wines, and then you appreciate the whole spectrum. And I think everyone, you said Chardonnay lost its favour over the years, everyone comes back to Chardonnay because it is such an adaptable grape variety, and it's Sauvignon Blancs people might think it would be a bit because it's I don't know, but Chardonnay is a very satisfactory grape variety, and it's satisfactory at every level, from the entry level varietal Chardonnays up to the Montrachets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, considering that you have been tasting more than Chardonnay here, while you've been visiting for the past week, you've tasted all sorts of things. Is, in your opinion, Canada ready to stand its wines up against the big boys of Burgundy and Bordeaux and Champagne and Alsace?
Yes, the short answer to that is yes. And I think also wine should be compared in price brackets. I mean, in broad price brackets. There's no reason for the even very good Niagara Chardonnays at 25-30 Canadian dollars to go up against the Premier Cru Premier Montrachet. So that doesn't make any sense. But to compare a 35 Canadian dollar Chardonnay against a 35 Canadian dollar white Burgundy, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think the comparison should be made to teach people. And I even though I was the first person to do it, Judgment in Paris ended up being perceived as a battle between California and France. It wasn't supposed to be that. It was supposed to be an education.
Mm-hmm. Well, coming back to education, this 2013 is the 40th anniversary of your founding of the Académie du Vin. Do you still teach classes?
No, I founded the Christie's wine course with Michael Broadbent in '82, and we did the final course together in September 2012. Mm-hmm. And I stepped back from the Christie's wine course last year. Yeah, I do the occasional wine course, but I no longer have it on a regular basis.
On a regular basis. When you do teach, what's your favorite lesson to teach?
The enjoyment of wine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, understanding wine and enjoying it. You can't enjoy it fully without understanding, or without making the effort to understand it.
And as a person who knows so much about wine, what's the most recent thing that you yourself have learned about wine?
Gosh, that's I'd have to think, and we don't have time on our video. I like wines. I like more and more freshness in wines. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like harmony. For me, a wine has to be harmonious to be good. But I appreciate more and more freshness, more and more energy, vitality and energy. And then, of course, you sit down and you drink a very mature wine. But to me, well, wines all should represent what they're made, the grape they're made from, the grapes they're made from, and the vineyard where they're grown. So wines have to have a sense of origin, a sense of place, a sense of the grape variety, and, if possible, also a sense of the person who made it.
It's sort of an honesty or purity.
Yeah, honesty. Honesty, yeah. Purity is an extra. Purity is not all wines can be. They should not be impure. But purity, when you hit purity in a grape Riesling, for example, you recognize purity. I'm not after lack of faults. I'm after personality. That's it. Personality.
Okay. Personality. And you're quite a personality yourself. Thank you. Stephen, thank you for joining me here on Pro and Con. My guest has been British wine expert Steven Spurrier. And thank you for watching. You can subscribe to this channel to be notified of all future interviews with wine pros. Please do subscribe. Again, thank you for watching, and goodbye.